The young manager walked briskly through his office, avoiding eye contact, not wanting to stop. He took the glass stairs down to the open atrium and lifted his chin to meet the smiling gaze of the barista as he strode towards him. The barista, who owned and operated the Courtyard Coffee Shack, was a towering, jovial man of perhaps 70 years old. He was unusually sprightly for his size, and his youthful, bright-eyed manner made it difficult to gauge his true age. Apart from the lack of a bushy white beard and his attire, which was closer to gentleman's club than Christmas grotto, he would have made a reasonable St. Nick. The young manager did not know the barista. He was accustomed to letting his PA pop down to fetch their morning coffee when she had a cheeky cigarette, so he was surprised to hear his order preempted as he approached the wood-panelled kiosk. "Good morning, sir," boomed the barista, his voice echoing around the cavernous turbine hall. "Flat white to go, if I'm not mistaken." The young manager nodded, ran his thumb over his smartphone screen, and bumped it against the reader on the coffee shack's counter. "Do you know everyone's drink in the building?" he asked, casually trying to remember the last time he had visited the shack in person. "Of course, sir," said the barista. "Customer loyalty is the backbone of my business. What would it say about me if I could not remember the one thing they asked me for? Now, if you'll excuse me, I have not yet found a way to satisfy my customers' requests without, albeit briefly, turning my back on them." The barista grinned from ear to ear, showing a wide expanse of neat white teeth, then nodded to the young manager and turned to face the shining chrome boiler of his coffee machine. He ground fresh coffee beans and spooned them into the filter basket, tamping them down lightly as the young manager began to fiddle with his phone. Next, he lowered the steam wand into a jug of milk and swilled it gently as it heated. The young manager's phone rang, and he let out an irritated sigh. He glanced at the screen and rolled his eyes as he swiped it to send an unavailable message to the caller. "Bad day, sir?" asked the barista, without turning around. "Huh," snorted the young manager, drumming his fingers on the countertop impatiently. "Bad few months, more like. Same old problem, though, nothing new. I suppose I should be used to it by now." "In my experience," said the barista, as he blended fresh espresso with the steaming hot milk, "getting used to a problem can be a problem itself." "No doubt," replied the young manager. "But I've tried every trick in the book and nothing works." Said the barista. What?" said the young manager defensively. "You sound doubtful." "Pardon me, sir," said the barista, placing the perfectly finished flat white on the counter. "It's really not my place to comment." "Well, maybe not, but I wish you would," said the young manager. "I'm out of ideas and open to suggestions, wherever they come from." A smile played over the barista's lips. He was accustomed to being underestimated. "It's just that, generally speaking," he began, leaning one stout arm on the coffee shack counter, "people who think they've tried everything to solve a problem have done nothing of the sort. They may have exhausted their own imaginations, but they have not yet tried the right thing, or indeed there would not still be a problem." "Well, I can assure you, there's been no lack of imagination on my part," the young manager snapped. He didn't want to get riled, but who was this gigantic keeper of a glorified drinks trolley to suggest that his efforts had fallen short? How could the barista possibly know what he had struggled with before reaching this impasse? His phone rang again. No doubt they'd be looking for him in the office. He really should be getting back. "Forgive me," said the barista calmly, and continued. "I'm quite sure that you have exhausted every avenue open to you, sir. But perhaps it's time to start thinking about the ones you've kept closed." The young manager knitted his brow and puffed out his cheeks. The barista's cryptic pronouncements were not providing him with any answers. But there was something about the big man's manner that had him hooked. "There are many ways to look at a problem," the barista continued, arching one fluffy snow-white eyebrow. "Sometimes you have to look at it from another angle before you can be sure you know the shape of the thing." "I'm not sure where this is going," admitted the young manager. "But all right. You've got me. Go on." "You first," said the barista. "Tell me a little more about your situation. If nothing else, it seems to me that you could use the opportunity to get things off your chest." The young manager stared at his steaming coffee and nodded. The barista was right. He was so stressed out that he hadn't slept properly for weeks. He felt like a tightly coiled spring in a rice paper bag. Everything was threatening to burst out at once.